Hey guys, Bill here with World Made Simple, and today we're going to start our first video series, which is going to be the success of a nation. So this is basically going to look into how a nation becomes successful and what it can do to become more successful as well. Um, there's going to be what I refer to as the five-step ladder as the best way of kind of simplifying this and describing this to everybody. And each step of that ladder, each rung of that ladder is going to be a factor which allows a nation to be successful. Now, the reason that I'm going over this, as I said in kind of the intro video, is understanding where success comes from explains why a lot of countries act the way they do, especially in the modern era. So we're going to go ahead and look onto how a nation can be successful to understand why certain nations take the actions they do. So the first and bottom rung of that step is going to be geography, or the land that that nation has, or for lack thereof land in the case of oceans and water features. So that'll be the first kind of video segment we go over, is going to be geography. So that should be the first thing you see after this. Next is going to be the population of a nation, the people that reside within that nation in terms of the age groups, in terms of essentially what niches those people fill within their own populations. Third is going to be the resources, and the resources are going to be kind of tied both in the population and the geography of the nation. This is going to include things like food, things like minerals, things like oil. That is going to be all covered in resources. The fourth rung is going to be economy, being essentially the driving force of the modern world. The economics, you're talking about trade, you're talking about tariffs, you're talking about import, export, that kind of stuff. That'll all be covered on the economy rung. And the final rung is going to be military. Military is going to be including all of the service branches. We're to go into in depth for each one of them, particularly for the United States military, as is the one I'm the most familiar with, and it's also the one that I feel is probably the most relevant in the current era. So we'll talk about the U.S. military quite a bit. There is technically a sixth factor. I don't want to necessarily call it a rung of the ladder, and that is culture. And we'll go over culture last because it's kind of, you need to understand all the other rungs in order to understand how culture kind of comes to be and comes about. Culture doesn't necessarily show up as the final rung, but I'm doing it as the final rung because it's just kind of a good way to end it. So to recap, we're going to start with geography, move up to population, resources, economy, military, and do a full recap with culture. So the first video that you're going to be seeing after this is going to be my geography video, starting to talk about why geography is important, and specifically in terms of the defense of a nation. Catch you guys later.